Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. I don't know if you knew this, but anyone can get the same premium wireless for $15 a month plan that I've been enjoying. It's not just for celebrities. So do like I did and have one of your assistants switch you to Mint Mobile today. I'm told it's super easy to do at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. Intro rate first 3 months only, then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See full terms at mintmobile.com.
This episode is brought to you by the Toyota Grand Highlander. Life's journey brings constant change filled with exciting surprises and grand challenges. And with its spaciousness, power, and style, the Toyota Grand Highlander is more than a vehicle. It's your partner in embracing all life throws at you. From the spacious adult-sized third row to seating for up to 8 passengers, the Toyota Grand Highlander is up for every grand challenge. Learn more at toyota.com/Grand Highlander. Toyota, let's go places.
Does it ever feel like you're a marketing professional just speaking into the void? Well, with LinkedIn ads, you can know you're reaching the right decision makers. You can even target buyers by job title, industry, company, seniority, skills. Wait, did I say job title yet? Get started today and see how you can avoid the void and reach the right buyers with LinkedIn ads. We'll even give you a $100 credit on your next campaign. Get started at linkedin.com/results. Terms and conditions apply.
From the Fifth Quarter Studio in Madison, Wisconsin, you're listening to High School Hoops with your hosts, Steve Collins and Jake Stager.
Hey, everybody. Welcome. So excited you decided to join us today. Before we jump into the podcast, I'd first like you to go over and check out our other podcast, High School Hoops, the 5-minute basketball coaching podcast, Funnel on Defense. Just finish this one first and then pull the car over or stop your run and go over and check the other ones out. Download all of them. And leave a 5-star review. We love that. But we would like to give a shout out to our 2 sponsors. First of all, Dr. Dish. I believe in this. I don't have a lot of sponsors that I talk about, and Dr. Dish is one of them. I believe in this machine. It is great. It has helped our team. You mention Coach Unplugged, and they'll give you $400 off. That's all. That's probably the best compliment I can give. Is a lot of people approach me about being me talking about them and being sponsors on here. And Dr. Dish, I believe in them so much that. That's why I do it. Also, go over and check out teachhoops.com for coaches who want to get better. It's the one-stop shop for basketball coaches. It is what I would have wanted as a young 25-year-old coach. I would have wanted all of these resources, and maybe it would have helped me win a few more state titles. I don't know. But from someone that's been a nationally ranked coach and had nationally ranked teams and won numerous state titles, this thing is everything you need to take your team to the next level. We offer a 14-day free trial because we believe in it so much. Go over and check it out, and let's head off the podcast. All right, welcome to Coach Unplugged. Oh geez, I'm not even. What episode am I going to be? I'm going to be 1500 something. Anyway, so Coach Murphy, I'm going to have you kind of introduce yourself, kind of give your background a little bit, your coaching background, and then we'll talk about the website. We'll talk about hoops. We'll talk about analytics. We'll talk about me being a stats teacher. We will definitely not have a small amount of things that we can talk about. But why don't you introduce yourself and kind of tell the listeners a little bit about you?
Okay, great. Great to be here with you. I'm currently a 9th grade freshman high school basketball coach in San Francisco. And I'm a former player at a phenomenal high school in New York, and then played college basketball in North Carolina and in Washington, D.C., which was a thrill. And just have always been a huge fan of the game and enjoyed playing it. And I've been coaching probably for the last, dozen years or so. And started with my daughter at her CYO level, and just started moving up the ladder and coaching higher level grade teams. And so I've been in the game probably now since I was 7. So that's going on a long time.
Yeah, I can. Okay, so what school in New York?
So it's Holy Trinity High School, which is a perennial basketball powerhouse. And I grew up in a small town near the high school, which attracted kids from all over the place. And so, each town had its, best player, up and coming eighth grader. And, a lot of them went to Holy Trinity and went out for the team. And so, my being on the freshman team was a challenge and a thrill, even though I had accomplished a lot already at that point. I still was, just excited to be on the team. And then our varsity team that year went on to win the New York State basketball championship. So,
Wow.
the stands were packed by, if the game was at 7, people were getting there, by the JV game, the beginning of, and some people would hit our game. So, we'd have quite a large crowd there early on in my basketball career. And I got used to, being around great environments for basketball and, great fan support and, obviously, outstanding play. And our best player was attracting national attention and wound up signing with Carolina, played for Dean Smith. And so Dean was at some of our games and practices, as was Digger Phelps and, some of the other big coaches at the time. So, the Big East was just really getting started. The rivalries were really, starting to heat up between St. John's and Georgetown and Syracuse and Villanova, and Seton Hall was good. So, it was just like a premier and just tremendous basketball environment to grow up in.
Yeah, it's weird how the Big East kind of has lost. I mean, I think there's been too many shifts in the Big East. The Big East was for like 20, 30 years. It's kind of just been.
Well, the Big East was the Big East in the 80s,
Right.
when you had the greatest, all these player of the year candidates. You had the rivalries. You had Georgetown, which was up and coming, and they played this kind of like this role. And then you had Dean Smith and Carolina, and then Mullen was a perennial player of the year. They had guys that were just, on the cover of Sports Illustrated.
Right, but even in early 2000, like when Wesley went to Marquette, I mean, it was still like they had done a little bit of a shift, but it was still competing. I just think there's been so many changes recently. I think it's hurt the Big East.
The geography of it has changed, and those natural rivalries aren't there quite as much. And college basketball the landscape has really changed. But just to be around that and be able to go to Madison Square Garden and watch games and see the intensity, especially, I was fortunate enough to play at Madison Square Garden my senior year. When I was at Catholic University in Washington, D.C., our team played against NYU at the Garden. And then Georgetown and St. John's followed us. Mark Jackson was the starting point guard for St. John's that year. He and I had played against each other in high school throughout our 4 years of high school. So that was fun to see him and, see how far we'd all come and how far he was still going.
Right.
But
no, it's crazy. I think it's it's one of those places you got to go to. I always expected more when I was walking, because you see it on TV and it's like, oh, wow. I mean, it's great facility, but it's like, I don't know. It's like, I don't know. There aren't many
those
of
Big
those
East games when those rivalries were great, that's when you had the real fans out there. It's become a bit of a corporate, look at me type of crowd, which takes away from it. But back then, it was much easier to have the average, guy who rode the subway afford a ticket. And so, he's in full throat. He's not looking at his phone and wondering, which way is, his action's going to go.
Right. So how did you end up in San Francisco, and what school in San Francisco?
Well, actually I graduated, from Catholic U on the East Coast, and then came out to San Francisco on a business trip. I thought I wanted to be a sports agent, so I was working in a big law firm, and they sent me out here on a business trip, and it was 3 of the most fantastic weeks ever. And so I was wanting to change, looking for a change, and get out of my comfort zone in New York a little bit. So I decided to give it a whirl, and I came out. That summer, I quit my job and drove cross country to work at a basketball camp in Tacoma, Washington, the Bernie Bickerstaff basketball camp at University of Puget Sound, and then worked my way down to Don Nelson's camp in University of San Francisco. And, really wanted to get back into the game somehow, some way. And so I wound up becoming friends with Coach Nelson and met his son, Donnie, who was more closer to my age. And we started hanging out a little bit, and one thing led to another. And I was able to get a job. I interviewed for a job in the media department with the Warriors, and I was able to get it. And so, lo and behold, I move out, and I'm working for the Warriors.
That's awesome. That's when the Warriors weren't the Warriors, though, probably, huh?
Well, that was the Run TMC years when Mullen was, now in his prime, averaging like 25 a game for like 3-4 years in a row. Tim Hardaway was in his early, crossover prime, and Mitch Richmond was in his Warrior prime before he was traded soon after for Billy Owens the following year, which broke up, the Run TMC era. And then the Chris Webber era began, and that flamed out, and then the Warriors were horrible for 20 years,
right?
Until they got Curry,
and
then everything changed.
Yeah, it can do that. Ask Bucks fans. I went and saw Giannis play before Thanksgiving, and I'd seen him on TV, but I'd never seen him in person. And he's talking about statistics and analytics. He is not a normal human. He shouldn't it looks like he's playing on Nerf basketball. That's what it looks like.
Yeah, his shooting percentage in the lane is probably acceptable to most coaches.
Oh yeah, it's crazy. It's just, I don't know. He's just not, and he runs like a gazelle. Like, it's not like he's, even Lopez runs. I mean, those big bodies shouldn't run like that, but it's just, anyway, that's a whole different analytics thing. So let's talk, where are you in your season?
We're about I guess we started on November 1st.
Okay.
And now we've played 7 games. We had an exhibition, 2 exhibition games, and we just completed our 7th game yesterday against a very talented St. Joe's of Alameda squad, former high school of Jason Kidd, and coached by Don Lippy, who is a legend in the Bay Area, formerly at St. Ignatius High School and over at St. Joe's. Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of wins. Not quite as many as you have, Coach.
I don't know about that. So that's it. So I'm gonna geek out a little bit now. So I'm only game 3, and it's really hard on game 3 to do the analytic. Like, you can, but the numbers aren't. I mean, the patterns haven't started to establish. The law of large numbers is not kicking in on game 3. I find it hard from scouting standpoint when you don't have enough sample of I mean, I know the kids in our area, but I don't know all the kids in our area, and I don't know the 6th guy. Can he shoot? Can he not shoot? So I don't have all of those. So talk about how you deal with the difference between early and mid-season, and with Hoopsalytics too, like that. How does that kind of correlate?
Well, we decided right from the start that analytics was going to inform everything that we do. So right from the first day of practice, we started talking about shot quality. We started talking about, what's our percentage or points per possession when we reverse the ball? How many more points do we score when we get from the ball from one side to the other and back? How many points do we average when we score when we have a paint touch? And so all those numbers, all those metrics, we discussed early on. So when we went through all of our practice, we were we were just constantly on them. Paint touch, ball reversal. That's not a good shot. And I would ask the player, on a scale of 1 to 10, what do you think your odds are of that shot going in? 2? And he'd say 3, and I'd say 2. And
right.
and we go, what do we need? And we'd say, we need 5. We need 5. Get us 5. Get the ball to the rim and let us go after it, but let's get the ball on the rim, and let's take uncontested shots, and all this stuff now we're able to track. We have a player who's a gazelle. He's just super fast. And I said, we're going to measure your rim runs this year. We're going to keep track of how many times you run to the rim, how often you get the ball, and what your percentage is when you do it. So, early on in the season, it's really tough to say, hey, look, you've got 16 rim runs. You're scoring 1.2 points per possession on each one of those. That may not really impact the player as much as it does now that we have 7 games. And so when we have our next film session, I'll be able to show him all the clips of every single rim run that he's done over the course of the first 7 games. And, just being able to have the video supported by the analytics, and then because you can compare it to what's our team-wide points per possession. It's it's probably below 1.0 right now, which is not good, but it's probably like 0.9. And
Right.
if we're scoring 1.25 points per rim run, then over the course of 4 possessions, that's an extra point if we're doing the right thing. So we like to talk about things like that. And now some of the analytics and some of the data is starting to show, okay, it's more of a trend. This is now becoming quantifiable. Is this working or is this not working? For example, like we have one of my favorite blob plays, based on out of bounds plays. It used to work, but for whatever reason with this team, it's producing the lowest amount of points per attempt on all of our blob plays. So we're going to eliminate it. It's just not working. And now that we're in our kind of mid-season point, that data is starting to inform some of the coaching decisions that we're going to make.
Yeah, like when we talk about shot selection, we do a range too, but then when we're always talking about it, we do this in practice too. Like we'll do a drill and I'll have an assistant coach yell out the number of the shot that the person just took, so they get a little bit of reinforcement. But we do the 3 R's. Is it in your range? Are you in rhythm, and do you have room? So the 3 R's are what we referred to, and it's like, because everyone's range is not the same. Anyway, but I love that following. Yes. And the video associated with the specific analytic is like unbelievably good. Like that's why that they can see that is so nice.
It is, and it's amazing because they're seeing it my team is, our 9th graders are, they're seeing it for the first time, so they must be like, okay, this is what normal video looks like. This is what normal platforms look like, but it's not. It's so super advanced. Especially back to the days when I was playing. I mean, shoot, we'd be watching VHS and looking at like handwritten stats that were photocopied. So
I know they don't have the idea of that. I told Bill this too. It's like, the thing is, like, I think this generation of coaches has lost something in the sense that I have watched more tape and broken more stats down prior to this in my career than any human being should. I had 4 VHS tapes going. I was recording and stopping and doing stats, and like, oh my gosh, that I'm married is a miracle upon itself. But then that's what I love about this is that you can pick the analytics. You can break. I mean, there's other places that are very expensive that will break it down for you, but I think you lose something as a coach when that happens. I really do.
Yeah, being able to customize only the things that you want to track. We have clients all over the country. We have this great school in Cleveland that 500 boys graduate per year, and they're serious about their hoop, and they wanted to be able to just only track the things that were important to them. And how can we eliminate everything else and really just simplify it down, because they do use other services, but the other services don't provide them with the deep dive and things that they are really, really focused on. So to be able to do that and customize it is a big feature for a lot of the high school coaches that we work with.
Right.
Being able to, for us, even being able to measure the impact of selected players. what's our best group of two? What's our best group of three? Being able to provide lineup reports. The guys look at that and they say, and you say, look, you guys aren't playing. Our post players, when you're in the game, these two guys are playing our best. You two got to pick it up, and you two just keep doing what you're doing, or get better at it. The players, it resonates with the players because they feel like they're being told something that's just factual rather than just always just opinion.
Right. And it's like, yes, I think that's it's the numbers. Again, math teacher, the numbers don't lie. I tell them the numbers don't lie. Like how we correlate them matters, but these numbers are not like you are averaging 4 turnovers a game. What are you talking? I mean, you fouled out of the first 7 games. The numbers don't lie about that. But I think they live in a society, or at least the boys do. My boys do. It's like when you can show them, it makes film sessions so much easier too, because you can show them short spurts, because their attention span, they want to see video, they want to see short spurts, but that you can back it up with something, I think is so important.
Yeah, and Coach Bill was just able to do an upgrade to the site where you can accumulate video, not just from one, you can watch video not just from one game, but like accumulated so that it's every game. And then there's a drop down menu where you can focus on just either offense, defense, your transition offense, your transition defense, which is huge for us because, we want to run the ball all the time. And like I said, we want to get the ball ahead and rim run and take advantage of this kid. We try to hit the wings, we try to hit the paint. And we definitely want to get this kid posted up down on this rim run. So, being able to, just show video of our offensive transition, totally, I think it has a bigger impact because you're not kind of like, you're able to just go, okay, time after time after time. I see it. Now it's starting to, make an impact on me. It is. And the kids are using, the terminology and, we talk about certain, things on our defense, our praise fail. We can look at all the praises, and then as a group, we look at all the fails. And then individually, I invite the kids, if you want to have an individual film session, it's all organized completely. So it can, instead of taking 20 minutes, it can take 5 minutes. And, everybody's in school doing homework and, living their life. So, being able to have that type of efficiency, I think, like you said, especially with today's player, is important.
Well, I think it's also from someone that's taught for 35 years. It's about simplifying. It's about simplifying, and like you were talking about that school in Ohio or whatever, that they can't take. I mean, I have simplified it down now to where we talk about, like, you got to do these 3 things really well against this opponent. Like, we got to, no paint touches, or no, I don't know what it is, but it's like, I love that you can pick the specific things that this is what's important to us, because, obviously, turnover percentage is a huge thing for high school wins or losses. To be honest, it's probably one of the bigger indicators, in my opinion, at least from the analytics I've looked at.
And produces more gray hairs per coach.
Yes.
Cross country than any other facet of the game. It's important to be able to also give them, the good side of things and be able to create, motivation. And you can do that with our clips and comments, where you're personalizing things, and instead of just a thumbs up and a thumbs down, it's a, comment on what happened. And then you can also comment on, next time, this is what we want to happen. So it's a recognition, and then it's, a fix, recognition and a fix. Instead of, pulling up in the paint and, traveling, because they're assuming you're moving your pivot foot, finish, be decisive, or kick the ball out to a shooter and then get out of there, because those are some of the turnovers that we get. And, those are you got, nice little fast break going, and then you get a turnover in the paint.
Yeah. We refer to those as live ball turnovers. Live ball turnovers, for anyone that's listening, are horrible. I tell them I would rather have you take this ball home and eat it than turn it over, because at least we can get home. At least we can get back and play defense if you don't do that. We talk about the football tuck. I go, if you don't have anything to do, football tuck it. Just tuck it away. Don't get a jump ball. Just get that 5 second, because at least we can get back and defend at that point. Those breakaway layups, oh my goodness, those live ball ones they're killers. They're killers for you as a team.
Yeah, those hurt for sure. So just being able to watch film and not have it be all negative, but educate and inform and help it, and we tell them it helps us inform our decisions. The numbers don't lie. Your plus minus is legit. Like, that's a number that we look at. When you're on the floor, who are you playing well with? How are you impacting other players? But also just your personal plus minus. What's your points per possession? These are things that I never thought of when I was playing. No. These are this is just part of the conversation now. So when we talk to coaches across the country, we're working with AAU coaches. We're working with private coaches that work with players about to be drafted. They have their own facility. We work with a group out of Milwaukee, actually, I think, not too far from where you are.
Not too far.
And so they want to track 3-on-3 practices. We've created a way that you can do that. We're working with junior programs in Florida, just these really dedicated coaches who want to have video on the website for their players to watch, and then they get into not as deep a dive of the analytics, but providing a box score for a 7th grader is pretty cool.
Yeah, very cool. It's very cool. Okay, so let's listener is driving their car home from work and they go to Hoopsalytics. What do they see? What is there? What makes it unique? Let's just go down that for the listener that has no idea and hasn't heard me talk about it before.
It's a video stats and analytics basketball website. It's pro level analytics, affordable for junior programs, high school programs, college programs. It's a website that allows you to customize and track anything that you find important as a coach and that you want to impress upon your team. It's a great way for players to analyze themselves and be able to look at the video of the stats and have it come to life to them so that they can make better decisions and hopefully play better. That's the goal. So it's a super high level analytics, data driven website that's really easy to use, affordable, but really provides coaches a insight into their team that.
When your company earns unlimited 2% cash back on all purchases with Capital One, that's serious business. So Stephen at SandCloud got a serious business card, the Spark Cash Plus card from Capital One.
We used our 2% cash back to help build our retail presence.
Savvy, Stephen.
And we get big purchasing power, so our business can spend more and earn more.
The Spark Cash Plus card from Capital One. What's in your wallet?
Terms and conditions apply. Find out more at CapitalOne.com/SparkCashPlus.
That really just, it's hard to find with all the things that I mentioned. So
right. So
we use it for our teams, Coach Bill and I. There's teams that that use it here in the Bay Area that that we're friendly with, and we're asking them all the time, how's it going? What do you need? And the feedback's been so great, and we get coaches from your podcast, Coach Collins, who write to us and say, hey, we heard about you guys, and we're interested, and so we've got people in Australia that we work with, people in Europe, teams, professional teams are contacting us now, and they see that what we offer is really the top level stuff. But it's also really cool for high schools to be able to use it and utilize it at an affordable price. So,
Right. Well,
really
I
just,
like is
getting going. But
yeah. No, what I like is, first of all, you can go before you even buy it, you can go and do a game. Like, go play with it. That's the first thing. That's teaching 101. Like, if they don't know something, I want them to dive into it and try to figure it out. So go, if nothing else, go try the free game. You'll see you can do all the stuff. All the custom, most of the custom stuff. I think it says on the website. But anyway, you can do basically anything you want in there and play around with it. It's like a little bit of a sandbox. Play with it, see it. And I know you guys do free demo. You do live demos too, which can be helpful if you're very serious about it. But I love the pricing. It's one of the reasons it caught my eye the first time. 30 youth games for less than $100 is crazy. So, and most people probably, unless you're high level AAU, don't play that many games. But that's what I love. It's like, that's just, you can play around with it. You can see if it's the right thing for you. And the good thing about early, you guys have been around. How long have you been around? Like a year and a half?
Coach Shaw, hold on one second. I'm kind of just, your audio is cutting out there for a moment.
Okay.
Let me just.
He's updating. So what I'm going to say is hold
on one second. I can't hear you. Can I leave and come back? Would that be okay?
Hey, what I'm going to tell all of you too is if you go over to hoopsalytics.com/teach, you can get 25% off. Great deal. So hoopsalytics.com/teach. I believe it's teach. Let me check. It is teach. So get 25% off. There'll be a coupon code on that page. You go to teach 22, you get 25% off. That's crazy. So go over and check that out. hoopsalytics.com/teach. Okay, Coach. So we had a little. So again, I'm a basketball coach. I'm not a technician. So who knows who? We had a little technical problem there. I'll try to edit the best I can, but it will all work. It's the normal day-to-day that I do. So tell me I was talking about that. It's great that you get the free game. You can go play around with it. I think that's an awesome thing. So let's be real. What makes this different or unique in relation to other things on the market? What makes it different?
I think the flexibility in being able to customize the things that you want to track is the big difference. It's built by basketball coaches for basketball coaches. So when you start using the platform, you go, it would be nice if I could do that. Oh, it would be nice if I could track. They already have that. So Coach Bill has created this customizable scoring platform. And, it's like if you went to the back of a stats, textbook and there was a summary of everything that was in the preceding 500 pages. And that you could select that you really want to, focus in on, check, offense, defense, opponent, yourself, passes, dribbles, cuts, anything, if you can create anything that you want to track. And I don't think anyone offers quite that same ability to do that. And so we're getting, we have Division I teams, NCAA, March Madness teams who are using the system, and they've really leveled us up because they asked for everything. And
right.
We had to figure out a way to deliver that. And since we've been able to deliver that, that's now part of the platform. Now everybody can have access to that, not their specific sauce, not the secret sauce that only they know and only they use. And that's what makes Hoopsalytics so great is you can take your secret sauce and get data out of it now.
Right. And I love that. I love that. What the question I was asking is, how long have you guys been around?
Right. So Coach Bill and I used the system together 3 years ago when we coached together.
Okay.
And then Bill went up to take on that girls varsity coaching job, high school up in Northern California, and I stayed here. And so it's been in development probably for 3 years, and we've been using it ourselves for 3 years. But like last year, we started really making it available to the public, and this year is kind of like our first summer where we really were pushing the product out and making it available nationally and just everywhere. We've just been trying to promote it everywhere. So we feel like this upcoming summer, now that we've got clients in so many different categories, we'll be able to reach out to all of those categories and say, here's some example we can demo, we can show you, and be more customized to the client, because we have so many different clients now.
Right. And I think what will happen too is you're at that point in that infancy of a thing that's like, that's why I tell people that's when you want to get in, because you have a bigger voice. I can just see it in my business. It's like, I've gotten so big. It's like, I can't have that when I had 10 people in it. Like 10 people, I could call them on the phone and we could sit and have an hour conversation about it. Now that I'm dealing with hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people, it's like, ooh, I can't do that as much. I love that part of it. It's like that nuance of, hey, think about this in the future, blah, blah, blah. I do love that part of it. How long does it?
We've gotten a lot of that, from a lot of different coaches, and we've added, and just simple things like, can we track timeouts? Like, we wouldn't even think of that, and it's like, okay, yeah, of course. And so it makes sense. And we do get a lot of great suggestions. Like I said, it's not just coach driven between Coach Bill and I. It's coach driven by the people who are using the product, because they know what they want. And by them informing us, it makes it better for all basketball coaches, because now it's part of the platform.
Right. It's a better community. It's a better community. How long does it take you to break a game down?
Well, it probably takes me about, by the time the kid who records the game on the iPad downloads it and sends it to me, that's 45 minutes after the game generally. It takes me about 30 minutes to upload the game to the platform, and then it takes me about, I would say, an hour and a half to 2 hours to break down one of my games.
Okay.
But what we can do is we can see who's using the system. How many times are the players logging on? What are they looking at when they log on? Just because you want to see who's engaged. And it's been so great. And so, that all the players, literally every single kid on the team, has been looking at the site and, using the site to, evaluate themselves and, just enjoy the video of watching the games.
Right. And the thing is, I'll tell coaches, is as you do this more, you become faster. I'm guessing I could get this thing, after playing with it, probably down to less than an hour easy after, using it for 5 to 10 games.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because we also have hotkeys that you start learning how to use, and, instead of a two click thing, it's just a 1-click thing. And, the more you use it, definitely. We have a junior college coach who, she's a fanatic basketball coach, fantastic, and they're doing great. And she uses it, and I ask her, how long did it take you? And so she's under an hour now. So just like anything in basketball, you get out what you put into it, and
right.
If you want to get that extra edge, no one's giving you an extra edge. You got to go get it, and Hoopsalytics is a way to go get it.
It is. And it's like I had this advantage 30 years ago because no one was doing this. And then, all these things came in, I don't know, about 10, 15 years ago. So I've always had to keep pivoting. What's my new advantage? Because before it was about, were you going to grind and do it, and you had to do it by hand. And like you said, piece of paper, it's like, so and then I had to tally it. It's like I was using an Excel sheet. It's like, it was crazy. There were programs, I think, that I entered into, I don't know, but it would have been 20 years ago. Like, you do your stats, then you enter it in, and then they'd give it to you. It was like a 4-step process. It was crazy. But are you guys Coach has got some great blog stuff up there too. So if you go to the site Hoopsalytics, he's got some great stuff about like tracking fast breaks, shot chart and follow. I know he's posted some of the stuff on the Facebook group, but I know he's probably not doing quite as much because he's in season right now. But I had some great insights into some of the things I think that he saw analytically.
Absolutely. And Bill is also the software guy behind the site. So he understands, how to build it, but also how to explain it. And so it's easy to digest, his blog entries because, he describes it in such a way where it just makes sense. I also write, we both write blog entries, but mine are more geared. A lot of it are geared towards the analytics, but a lot of it is like just how to use the analytics. Like, what's the impact on the coach? It's more like a coach's diary type of thing. But yeah, the blogs are really informative. They're really helpful. We've been attracting some high level NBA, former NBA type of people who have seen the analytics, and one of them is featured on the front page of the website, giving us a recommendation. So that's been really kind of fun. When you like, for you, Coach, one of your guys goes on to college and is successful and or goes even to the pros. I know you've had pro players.
Yeah.
It gives you that extra pep in your step. So right.
No, it's great. It's great. It's great. Also, if you go over to hoopsalytics.com/teach, you can get 25% off. So that's good. They set up a page for me. So you can go over there and there's a coupon code. I want to say it's teach22, but anyway, you go to that page, you will find it. Let me look. Yeah, it's teach22 will give you 25% off. Go to that page, click on it, and that will help. All right. Any parting words, Coach? Anything you want?
There's my video.
There's your video. I figured you didn't want me to see you, so that's
no. My video was cutting in and out, so
it's all good. It's all good.
There it is.
It's all good.
No, it's been a pleasure to get to know you and work with your outfit. We did a lot of work researching various basketball podcasts and platforms, and we thought yours was the best, when we were looking at partnerships. And, it's been great to hear from so many of your coaches, and
it's good. Yeah.
Encourage all those guys to, to reach out to us, because it's, the conference schedule hasn't really started yet. And, using Hoopsalytics myself, we just played a team for the second time, and I was able to scout them and, use their statistics, in our scouting report, for the next game. We still didn't win, but it was kind of fun, to elevate ourselves and our prep work. So it's we're still out there available for this season, and
No, I think it's great. And the thing is, what I think is, especially for the younger coach, I think as you move up the analytics, like for a freshman, if you want to get an advantage at a JV level or a freshman level or a youth level, and you do this, trust me, you'll be in the 5%, 1% range.
We're at the forefront of analytics, and the sooner the younger levels get access to it and comfortable with it, the better off they'll be, because it's not going anywhere.
No.
And high school coaches, we it's fun, because this school I mentioned in Ohio, like the head coach, he's probably about 60, but the kid that we're working with, he's probably about 32.
Right.
So his idea of coaching is different than his head coach, because he knows that analytics are now part of the conversation.
They are. They have to be.
Analytics allows coaches to get experience using a high level analytic tool that they can use on their resume as they climb the ladder.
It's awesome. It's awesome. So go over and check it out, hoopsalytics.com/teach, and get 25% off and do that free game. If nothing else, go over, like I tell people with teachhoops.com, go over and kick the tires. If it's not for you, it's not for you. But I'm going to tell you, if you go and kick the tires, you'll join. I just know you will. That's usually what happens in Teach Hoops too. So it's not a problem. Go kick the tires. If you don't like it, it's all good. There's lots of options.
But, you might be surprised though of what you find, and and then how affordable it is to implement. So,
right.
Give us a call, or, you just write us an email, and we'll be happy to, do anything we can.
Yes, that's the great part too. They will respond. You're not dealing with this like 18 systems. Like, we're having problems right now with our camera in our gym, taping our game and going to NFS. It's like literally we've spent a month on 87 different email chains and people, and no one can figure out what's. That's not, you're gonna get Mike or Bill. You're gonna get one of those.
Yeah. and quickly, we're right on it.
And they're on it. All right. Thanks, Coach.
Thank you, Coach.
This podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.
Stop by Sherwin-Williams and get 30% off select paints and stains May 2nd through the 12th. It's the perfect time to transform your space with color. Refresh your home inside and out with colors that make every space feel brand new. From cozy interiors to stunning exteriors, we've got the perfect shade for your next project. Shop the sale online or visit your neighborhood Sherwin-Williams store. Click the banner to learn more. Retail sales only. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.